Hello, this is Crispin Flintoff from Not the Andrew Marr Show. Before this video starts, I'd just like to ask if you'd subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because we will be covering the general election from a totally different perspective from what you get from the mainstream media. We'll be talking about the candidates who are taking on Labour and the Tories and pushing them all the way. So please subscribe and get updates. Thank you, Craig, for agreeing to speak at very short notice on this hot day. Is it hot up there in Blackburn? Looks like you've got a fan there.
It's really beautiful, actually. It's really, really beautiful here.
Right, and it wasn't like that all the time when I was there. But look, what's been going on is, the vote splitting issue has come to the fore again in Blackburn. We spoke about it when I came up to see you, and what happened was last week, Five Pillars, which is a big channel on YouTube, put up a video in which they suggested a resolution to the split vote. This is what was said on Five Pillars last week.
Craig Murray, Adnan Hussain, okay. Basically, if the Labour candidate wins, and it looks at the moment she's going to win, 100%, I think she's going to win because of the vote splitting. If that happens and you both stand, then the Muslim community, not just in Blackburn, but outside of Blackburn, is going to look at you guys and is going to say, what the hell did you do? What, you put your egos before Palestine. Literally before the blood of the children of Palestine, you put your egos first. One of you has to step down. We have 2.5 weeks to go to the election. You need to step down now, like in the next few days. You need to do a deal. As I said before, flip a coin if you have to, okay? One of you has to step down. Craig Murray and Adnan Hussain cannot stand in that constituency. And if you do, Labour will win and everyone else will draw their own conclusions about you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said in a past episode, if you have to, just flip a coin.
So we had that suggestion of flipping a coin put on Five Pillars last week. And I was quite surprised to see this tweet a couple of days later, I think. George Galloway, following a very late night of negotiations in Blackburn, which failed to reach agreement between Honourable Craig Murray and independent candidate Adnan Hussein as to which of them needs to stand down in the interests of Palestine, I can announce Craig's agreement to the prominent Blackburn scholars' proposal to a toss of the coin and leave the matter in the hands of God, which was then, I then saw this tweet from you. I'm not standing down in Blackburn, but we have to unite to be certain to defeat genocide Labour. While I believe I am very obviously the better qualified candidate, we should find a united front for Palestine, and I have therefore agreed to a coin toss for Palestine. So I was watching that thinking, oh, wow, this is really honourable, as George was saying, of you to suggest going for this toss of a coin. However, I just saw this video today from Adnan Hussein, and this is what he says.
Now to the vote splitting issue. Many of you will know that it's been a concern for a while and has really heated up this week due to the Muslim news outlet Five Pillars picking up the story. I was disgusted at the suggestion by George to toss a coin to decide between myself and Craig as to who should stand and who should step down. Both myself and my team have taken this matter extremely seriously, and as George says in his tweet, we spent hours into the night last night with Craig to try and reach an amicable conclusion on the matter. We were hopeful for a resolution, but we walked away appalled at Mr. Murray's stubbornness. Hours of sit-down negotiations with Craig can't reach a reasonable conclusion on the matter, yet he and George Galloway are prepared to toss a coin on it. For them, the question of my people and their representation, their cause here at home and in Gaza, may be as flippant as a toss of a coin, but for me, it is life itself. My people are my cause, and my cause is not cheap. Like I said to Craig, I am taking this stance because prominent members of my community, leaders within my community, both asked me to and endorsed me. And now should my community and members, the prominent members and leaders of my community ask me this very minute to step down, then I will. However, I will never toss a coin on this matter. and I am deeply insulted at the suggestion. Again, I reiterate, should my community, should the prominent leaders and members of my community who prop me up now wish for me to step down, then I am fully prepared to do so. My fight for the cause of my people did not start a month ago, nor will it end tomorrow, come what may. With a genocide of the Muslims already cheapening our blood halfway across the world, I'd suggest people approach this matter with a little more decorum and respect. I took this mission as a means to effectively represent the sentiments of my people as we witness the plight of Muslims in Gaza as they continue to be annihilated. Do not insult me, nor the sentiments of those who are enraged by the genocide in Gaza by making a mockery of our cause.
There's quite a few words that he's used there about the coin tossing idea. One is flippant, one is he's insulted, one is it lacks decorum and respect. One is it's an insult, and one also is it's a mockery. Now, considering that that was actually the suggestion of 5 pillars, does that not undermine everything he's said in attacking you and George?
Well, exactly. It came from 5 pillars, and George also said that a prominent Blackburn scholar had suggested it. So it didn't originate with George at all. And I should say I was extremely unhappy about the proposal because we've put in a huge amount of effort here, and a lot of ordinary people have supported me and have crowdfunded me. Our campaign has been entirely paid for by crowdfunded contributions. So the idea of losing all that on the toss of a coin was quite hard for me to accept. I found it very, very difficult, but I accepted that it's in the interests of getting somebody pro-Palestinian into the House of Commons, I would be prepared to accept it. And so, despite all my reservations, I accept it. And he seems to have found the most long-winded way in the world ever to say, I am a coward.
Right. I mean, the anger. I mean, the anger just doesn't seem. I mean, it's faux. It's fake anger, isn't it? I mean, it's sort of. It's so important how he doesn't stand down with a toss of the coin, and it's an insult to him. I mean, it just seems bizarre. It's hardly an insult. It's just a way of getting one candidate off the ballot paper, or making it easier for Labour to be defeated.
Well, I mean, the whole visuals of it are extraordinary. It looks like he's practicing to be an Orwellian politician, ordering about my people, as he says, my people. It really is an extraordinary production. I suppose there are people who are impressed by such a thing, and I suppose those people are allowed to vote. But I can't believe there are an awful lot of them. But what it is absolutely correct that it is not good that we have many people standing claiming to be pro-Palestine and anti-Labour. That is not good. I was prepared to do anything to try to reduce the number in an amicable and sensible way. And I should say something, he says that I was extremely stubborn in the negotiations through the night. One thing which his people have said all along is that they don't like the Workers' Party. They've said all along they had no problem with me, but they disagree with the Workers' Party because of positions on Syria and also positions of the Workers' Party on a number of other issues. So one thing I offered with George Galloway's agreement was that I would leave the Workers'. We declared I'd left the Workers' Party and I was standing as an independent. If that resolved that issue and allowed us to adopt a single candidate. I also, the young man is only 34 years of age, and I said to him, I'm doing this for Palestine. I'm not doing it as a career ambition. I will happily guarantee I will only serve one term, and then we will support you to stand in the next parliament. So he says I was stubborn. We made a number of offers to try to resolve the situation. Whereas on their side, nothing whatsoever, absolutely nothing was offered, nothing, except you must stand down. And they just kept hammering away at me. But I think the most crucial thing is, I've just done a meeting with David Miller on the Zionist movement and the genocide in Gaza. And at my meetings, earlier you've seen the one with Chris Hedges, which was super, and Richard Medhurst. And we discuss Gaza, we discuss Palestine, we discuss international politics, we discuss Zionism, we discuss the fact that the political class of both the main parties are absolutely in the pockets of the Israelis. That's what we talk about. This so-called opposition candidate spends literally half, you can see the videos, you don't have to believe me. He spends literally half of his meetings attacking me. It is impossible for me to believe anything other than that this is a candidate run to attack me and stop me winning and to split the vote. That seems to be the very obvious conclusion. I don't spend any of my meetings attacking him at all, as anyone can see from the videos of those meetings.
So the other thing that you mentioned when we were up there, we spoke to you, is that you've got some suspicion that he's got links with Jack Straw's, who was the former Labour MP there, that he has links with Jack Straw's team, which is obviously, Jack Straw was associated with the Iraq War. You stood against him. Is that true?
Well, when we had these late night negotiations on who should stand down, he brought a supporter of his, into the office as his second, if you like. That person actually did most of the talking. I didn't bring anyone with me as my second because I was told to come alone. But this second that he brought in, I recognized from 2005 as Jack Straw's election agent. That makes it a little difficult for me to take this, to believe in this this independent, anti-genocide, anti-foreign policy side. And also, one of the things they're attacking me for is they are pro-NATO, strangely, and pro the war in Ukraine. So, who are these people and where are they coming from?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I was in Newcastle and we met Yvonne Ridley, and she has the same situation with an independent candidate, and she is very suspicious about whether there's a link with the Labour Party. This is a way of splitting the vote deliberately. Do you think that's going on? I mean, it seems like something very strange is happening here.
Well, I think undoubtedly there are fake independents standing up and down the country who have been put up against good anti-Gaza candidates by people acting on behalf of the Labour Party. I've got no doubt whatsoever that that is happening. I should say, to be plain, I'm not claiming that here Adnan Hussein himself is acting on behalf of the Labour Party. I think he probably believes he is standing as a anti-Gaza candidate, but I think he may be being manipulated by people who've used him and used his ambition to split the vote.
Right. Wow. I mean, you've seen so much in dirty tricks in sort of like following Julian Assange, and as in your work as an ambassador, you're not sort of naive about these things. So how do you feel? Do you just think this confirms how far the establishment will go to protect their interests?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I think we should certainly not rule out the possibility all over the country that where a new movement has started, and the movement of people disgusted by Labour's support for genocide, disgusted by the fact that in the new cabinet minister in the new Labour cabinet that's likely to be formed after the election, before most senior ministers would all be members of Labour Friends of Israel, and when a new anti-Israeli movement is starting and is participating in parliamentary democracy, it would be astonishing if there wasn't Israeli movement, if there wasn't Israeli money involved in dirty tricks to sabotage that movement. And I think looking at who some of the backers are of some of these strange independent so-called candidates might be very interesting.
And the final question I've got to ask you, Craig, is: are you still standing?
Yeah, I've really had enough of this now. The coin toss offer was made in good faith. I was willing to do that. It's been slapped back in my face, so the coin toss is now off the table. All we can do now is put forward what we believe in. The meeting we did on the Zionist lobby and the genocide today with David Miller, that'll go up online very shortly, and that'll end up being seen by hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of people all around the world, as was the Chris Hedges and the Richard Meadows meeting. This is a very good platform, and even if the campaign itself is extremely valuable, we've got huge momentum on the streets. You saw it when you came here, and it's actually got even better than that. It really has. It's now absolutely remarkable. The momentum on the streets is simply fantastic. So I don't at all put it beyond doubt, beyond the realms of possibility that we can still come through and win this and defeat Labour. But even should we not, it's not a waste of time. The campaign, the education, the use of the platform to get out information all around the world, it's all worthwhile. So I've finished with negotiations and coin tosses and all that nonsense, and we just fight on, as frankly we should have done in the first place.